she'd like to share with you all.
Good morning, and thank you. It is with our utmost gratitude that we welcome you here today as we look around this grand, beautifully renovated building. I think it's important for us to remember that for half a century, this was sacred space. And so I believe it's fitting that I borrow a metaphor from St. Paul in his letter to the Corinthians when he said, "We are many parts, but we are all one body." And that so aptly describes ECHS. There are so many of us here today who had a major role in this renovation. Our board of directors is the heart of this organization. 3 years ago, our board made an extremely difficult decision to restore, not demolish, this aging, rapidly deteriorating building. Knowing that every square inch of this building, inside and out, needed to be addressed, knowing that we had zero funding available, and knowing that a failure would be a very public failure, our board found the fortitude to vote to save this building anyway, because they knew that was what the community wanted. And this community will be forever grateful for their courage. Our donors are the ears of this organization. They heard about the dire status of this building. They listened to input from the community, and they heard our pleas for financial aid. And they had the faith in us that we would be good stewards with their gifts. Without our donors, none of this would have happened. This community will be forever grateful for their generosity. To our local craftsmen, our go-to guys, they are the eyes of this organization. Their expert, experienced vision saw exactly what needed to be done, and they did their jobs with such devotion to detail. It was so obvious that they took pride in their work, and that this project meant so much more to them than a paycheck. This community will be forever grateful for their talents. Our staff and volunteers are the hands and feet of this organization, literally. Whether it was carrying boxes of books, multiple boxes of books, down 3 flights of stairs, only to later carry those same boxes of books up 3 different flights of stairs. They did their work without complaining. We could have never accomplished what we did in the time frame that we did it without our volunteers. This community will be forever grateful for their service. But everybody needs a head. And I think we all know who that is. Our executive director, Amanda Rowe, is without a doubt the face and the brains of this organization. And did I mention that the Hayes Chamber of Commerce named Amanda Citizen of the Year? Amanda, it has been such a pleasure witnessing your growth these past 3 years. Your growth in confidence, in communication, and in vision. This community will be, should be, forever grateful for your dedication to an organization that many left for dead. And while we're grateful, very grateful, that we can spend this Friday morning basking in the glow of our current accomplishments, know this. Come Monday morning, this body, that is ECHS, will be back at work on our next big project, because we are not done yet. Thank you.
Mary Kate, that was wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. Well, Amanda, I know that we've got some news to share about the different things that were actually done in the building. Can you talk about the different renovations that have taken place to get us to where we are today?
Sure. For anyone that wants to sit through the slideshow, there's also a slideshow of all the before and after pictures that are wonderful. And as you stated here today, I know you can't get the grips of really what happened. And I know there's a few people in here, maybe some Worth Financial, that saw it at its depths. That first year they came and said, hey, can we help you? And I said, sure, there's a bunch of artifacts in the moldy basement. You know, we can take them up 3 flights of stairs. They saw it before all of this. But what we did in the past 3 years was the roof was already fixed. There was a roof issue back in 2017, 2018. They recovered that before my time anyway. And then the mortar repair on the outside needed to be done. There was 2 dirt basement areas that were being used to house artifacts that needed to be remediated and cleared of mold. And it all started, honestly, with that vote that Mary Kay talked about, but with I think looking at the task that we this is a huge task that the board previous had done a study to find out what all needed to be done and how much it was going to cost. It's going to cost like $1.3 billion. And without hardly any funds, and they took this on, we had an anonymous $25,000 donation that really got the ball rolling. We said, well, it can clear the place for the bowl, and it can get our offices back in this building, and then we can start working from there. And it really snowballed. So I want to say a personal thank you to that anonymous donor and that maybe the fortitude to see that and it would keep going. So we did that. We fixed all the plaster work in here. We, got a brand new HVAC system, thanks in almost all large part to a Schmidt Foundation grant. So it's nice and cool in here. We had to take out the horrible ugly ceiling fans and replace them with the nice original light fixtures, because now we have a good system that's moving air in here. We also pulled up all the carpeting, refreshed the paint, refinished the floors. They are all original. The only thing that's not original is the front of this stage, or the altar that would have been in this Presbyterian church. Sometime before the 1950s, they had cut it off to make it straight. And we had Ace Planing Mill go ahead and refinish it back out to mimic the arc of the balcony, which is gorgeous, and its mission style front. So, well, there's lots, but really we also added a ADA entrance in the back, because this was the building. I noticed, you probably noticed the 18 or 20 steps you got to come up here. That was the only way to get upstairs besides the back staircases. So we now have an entrance on the south side of the building with accessible ramp, an ADA restroom available in the basement, and our brand new, that was in large part to some donations from Daryl Seibel as well, a personal elevator issued from that ADA entrance up here at the main level. So a lot of work, and I think it's finished. So
We have a lot of very generous people in this area. I guess we'd be remiss not to mention some of the big supporters. Can you talk about, you've already mentioned a few, but maybe some others that also helped contribute to the project?
absolutely. I thought you have your little list here, because with all the things going on in my mind, I can forget some of them I know. And I've spoken about the Schmidt Foundation, Dane G. Hansen donated through some great projects. Everyone that gave over $5,000 to the specific group project is mentioned on the plaque back there, and I could name a lot of them, but I do want to call out just a few for purposes of posterity, I guess. Mr. Tom Pickle was one of the founding members of this society, and he had lost faith as so with the community, and he was one of the ones that said, came to one of our annual meetings and said, hey, I'll go ahead and donate. He was 10, he wasn't 5. But, and then there was the Beach Edwards Family Foundation that is actually headquarters out of Kansas City, but they have ties here at Beach Family, and wanted to make sure, long before we even started the recovery campaign, they were donating money to a capital project. They wanted to see this building, our society, succeed. The Jeter families, obviously, they helped us with that beautiful painting that's out front. They underwrote that commission and helped us fundraise by carrying bricks off all year last year. And the Shippers family, Mickle family, I said, and Daryl Seibel has been an awesome one to work with as well. And then, our work with our contractors was wonderful, and working with Glassman to get all this in. They were ready to go ahead and piecemeal it in before we had all the funds. They were like, well, we'll get the downstairs working, and then we'll pipe in the rest, and when we get the more cash, we'll do the rest, and we'll do the rest. And unfortunately, it came in that we only had to do it in two-year spreads. So I want to thank this whole thing.
That Brick by Brick campaign, multiple phases, lots of work went into that throughout the years. You guys finally got to celebrate earlier this year. That was really exciting to see the completion of that and actually see what that all contributed to where we stand today. Do you want to talk a little bit about the Brick by Brick project completion and then maybe what Mary Kay hinted at earlier, the next big plans?
So as part of our strategic plan, this was 3 years of our project to get this finished. This is the red brick building, and technically we did the mortar on the limestone building, but on this campus specifically, on the rest of this block, there is a house, a two-story house that was used for some time as all apartments, that we plan to make into some museum galleries. We call it our decade house. You go into the living room, it's 1950s. You go into a bedroom upstairs, it's 1970s teenager. You go in the kitchen, it's 1940s. But first, after we finish on the Victoria project, I don't want to talk too much about that today, but the only thing left to do in this structure is the limestone building has a fake facade on the little plaster. It's like cardboard. That has to come off, and that will be taken care of. And then we're doing some minor renovations on the three outbuilding things, and there's some surprises coming that hopefully that in the lot we'll have a gallery as well, and be able to incorporate some of the pizza and sculpture areas and stuff like that. But that's secret.
Well, not just looking forward to the future, but what's happening today. I know we planned this chamber chat or cutting our presentation for today in particular because we wanted to align it with the opening of the exhibit here in the summer art gallery block. Do you want to talk a little bit about the different exhibit pieces that are around the hall here?
Absolutely. So as we're doing all these projects, we work on a staff of, at first it was 2, and it was maybe we got 5, and one or 4 part-time, 1 full-time. So we don't have time to do all that work and without the volunteers and get ready and build our own displays. So this summer, so that we were still open and available to the public, we generously through Midwest Energy and the Heartland Foundation grant, we were able to rent this display. It comes from the Smoky Hill Museum in Salina, and it's called A Place to Call Home. It'll be up all summer long. It's about life on the prairie and living out in the covered wagon and living in the pioneer spirit. And so it will be free during our summer hours to come, and there's lots of things to touch. The only thing that's, I think, ours right here is this chuck box. And then, of course, literally within like 2 weeks, well, a week ago, now it's been here for a week, it came as like the perfect timing, is over there in the corner is a sculpture, not a limestone sculpture, a textile rendition of an buffalo by Ellis that was made in 1978. And we found that on Hampton Sands down in Dodge City. And so it came home to us, and we probably got Dodge Espresso with this display, the opening of the art walk tonight.
And you think that's not going to crash?
Yes, so here, what he told me was it was feeding interns, we are able to be open 7 days a week. So we are open Monday to Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and on Sundays, 1 to 5. And that is free to public, come up the steps, or join us downstairs, or if you come to the back area, and your grandma or grandpa has a wheelchair or walker doesn't go down the stairs, help them use the elevator. So please go ahead and run that list also.
Well, and I think it's fitting that your guys' fundraising campaign is called Right Brick. At this point, I think that it's time that we sit and do the brick presentation. So Ben, would you like to come up here and share?
Seriously,
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. A special thank you to the Historical Society for hosting us. I'm going to begin by congratulating you guys on your renovation. This milestone is a living commitment to preserving and supporting the city of Ellis County. And it's a meaningful moment, not just for your organization, but for our whole community. And as you know, I'm proud to represent the West Downtown Days, our board president, and the student, the board members as well. One of our favorite traditions is honoring members of the downtown community by presenting them in a brick. These bricks represent more than just the architecture of downtown. They stand for unity, strength, and the intentionality that shape our community. Because communities like ours are not just built here overnight, they're built carefully and thoughtfully, brick by brick. And it takes vision, hard work, and great people who care deeply about not just where we're going, but also where we're going. The Ellis County Historical Society has long been a protector of our past and guiding life in the future. Through your preservation efforts, education programs, dedication to storytelling, you help us understand our roots and inspire us to build harmony. It's my honor today to present you with the brick on behalf of the Bricks and Downtown Days. May it serve as a symbol of appreciation and reminder of your vital role in our community. Congratulations once again, and thank you for being part of the foundation of the Bricks and Downtown Days.
And thank you. Well, Amanda, before we open up to questions and answers, anything we didn't touch on that you'd like to share?
There was one thing real quick I was going to say. Monday morning, we're accepting more volunteers. Not a lot of lifting yet. We will be more lifting, so if you need some volunteer service hours, come talk to us. But what we will be working on here during the summer and in the fall and winter is filling this area with our permanent displays again. So this will come down in September, and we will have a few events, but the new exhibit will not be open until next summer. Summer tourist season, but this space will be our main gallery and will be filled with permanent exhibits. However, we will not take away the big before. It was sectioned out by the maze and cubby, and so you couldn't see the grades of the building or the space because they were high partition walls. So we have a task in front of us to creatively design exhibits that do not take away from the grade of this room. So please stop by frequently, like us on Facebook. There's a handful of our latest newsletter if you'd like to become a member or just keep updated on what we're doing. Until next time, we're going to this.
Very exciting. Okay, who has a question they'd like answered?
I have a question.
Yes.
Those yellow straps on the sign out front, will those come off?
Yes. So we are working on a grant from the railroad, the Union Pacific Railroad, to fix that. We felt we made that sign, and not quite a year ago, or close to last summer sometime, the mortar was coming apart, and I didn't want it to fall, and I didn't know what sign we were going to put there. So we just scratched it at the moment to keep it, and I can't put any money into it until I get my grant, until they tell me I can put some money into it. So we're also working on putting a LED sign with it. So yes, they will have other nice work with it, but we want to preserve that, and I didn't want to move it too many times to risk breaking the sign. Good question, thank you.
Jan?
only get an hour or two a week, or it's very flexible and can come in and help us take care of those items. Those are really ones. And also, if you are someone who just likes to do, I hear some people hacking, doing it, but I love data entry. We had two volunteers for college students just this last summer that were like, I love data entry. This is dirty. So we have, I would say, millions of, a few thousand photos that we are documenting into our database. And so they scan the photo, they enter in the number, and then all into our system. And it's pretty monotonous, but for an hour or two, we can get inside down into that. So I can will work with it. Well, someday doses and those kinds of will also start producing as well.
Question, Dan. Andrew?
I know in the past, think back 10, 15 years ago, there was an admission fee, or you had the opportunity to be a member of this. Is that a similar structure?
So right now we are trying to keep, especially this facility, open free to the public, just because we want to be part of downtown. I worked here in 2012 and 2015 as an assistant, just part-time, and I saw a lot of people that would, younger families turn around and say, I don't want to pay for 6 of my kids to come in here. And right now we don't have a lot for them to see yet. I don't feel my board wants to charge somebody everything. The Victoria side will be different. It's more of a tourist attraction, and hopefully we'll have our admissions fee will cover our operating costs over there, our utilities and stuff. This building, we hope to sustain ourselves on the continued support of public funding, our memberships and sponsorships, and of course donations as well. But that all depends. That's what we're hoping to keep this facility. We've also had numerous organizations, nonprofit organizations that will host their meetings here downstairs. We've got a nice lot of board space. They can host a program here, up here. I would really love to see in the fall, children's theater production up here, things like that. So we can be a staple in the downtown community. That takes a little bit.
Good question, thanks. Who else has a question?
Well, I actually have a comment about that. If you are not yet a member of ECHS, please become one. Today is the perfect day to do that. So we appreciate it.
And Clay back there is the tallest guy in the room. He's got some newsletters that I've been forms in the back, so stop by, grab one. You can also do it online. We had, we're up to the 26th, we've got the website online, but let's donate. Feel free.
Any other questions? All right, well, I'll open it up to announcements as only room if that works.
Yep.
So this is a chamber chat this morning. Who has announcements they'd like to share on behalf of their business? Or I see a very large room here. If you are new and never attended, we'd love to have you welcome yourself to your business. It's my first statement. Allie?
Hello, class. Thanks for the library. I want to remind you that you still have plenty of time to sign up for summer reading, especially adults. You have a lot of time to do this, and little challenges that we have. So stop by the library, pick up your bookmark and your registration gift. You got until August 31st to complete it, and there are some great ending prizes that you could potentially win. So please come to the library and sign up for summer reading. We have some great activities next week. On Monday, we will do upcycle craft to make flowers out of baskets. So we will upcycle anything. And then on Tuesday, we'll have a humanities Kansas presentation talking about upcycling, but how it kind of originally started back in the day when you got your flour or sugar out of bags, and then they used those when they didn't have any money to make clothes. So it's going to be original printing and upcycling. So learn more about that in this presentation on Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Then on Thursday at 6 o'clock, we're doing a plant swap. So if you got a lot of plants in your house and you maybe want some different ones, want to trade some plants, do a plant swap on Thursday at 6 o'clock.
Allie?
Good morning, Brittany Slider, representing the Hayes Arts Council. Our lovely presenters today have already talked about it, but today is the Hayes Arts Council Summer Art Walk, so officially kicking off the summer
with Jordan Brown, who is an artist. He's going to be displaying his works. We have raffle tickets here. I have some here. We also have it on our Facebook page. And funds that we raise from this are given to families in Ellis County who are going through cancer. It helps pay for their expenses, like if they have to travel, or if they have doctor appointments, whatever. So, if you want any, I've got some here, I can Venmo. If not, we're going to pick you winners tonight. So, we appreciate anything that you guys can donate for us.
And here at Tickets Maurice also really lucky, so I wish you all lucky right tickets, but not that much luck, because I'm fine.
Good morning, Tom Woodward, working with the Wild West Festival. I'd like to encourage everybody to buy the tickets. Buy them at Serves or Gills, that's the least expensive route to go. They're $35. Or you can purchase them online, but there's fees, taxes, and everything for that. But get tickets, they are available now, or they're still available at Serves and Gills. Also, if your company or organization would like to participate in the Wild West Festival Parade, it's on Saturday, July 5th. Please sign up online at our website. Check out our website. It shows all the acts and the entertainment that's going on. We'll have our this year as well as I mentioned, parade. Also, we're still looking in case somebody would like to help us tear down. Naturally, there's a lot of things to do, and helping us tear down on Sunday, July 6th would be a great help for us. So please contact me or go into online. It talks about volunteers. So just like go up, a little bit of information, and we'll be in contact.
Good morning, James Gershner with High Plains Mental Health Center. And the Masquerade on Main is over for this year, so I thought we have room in my brain for other things. And being that we're in a historical society, I want to share just a quick fact. Has anybody heard of the Great Emu War? The Great Emu War. You're all moving very quick. I'll be fast. In 1932, there was a herd of 20,000 emu that were decimating crops in Australia. So the Australian military, with machine guns, was dispatched to cull this herd. And after 2 months of conflict, they had managed to kill less than 1,000 emus. So if you can look this up in the history books, the outcome of this military operation is a decisive emu victory, which is endlessly entertaining to me. It has nothing to do with